Hello, class. So let's talk about what Germany was doing in 1923. And apparently, it was racism. So let's get into it. So in 1923, there was a cartoon called The Honor Guard. And the Honor Guard basically mocks French deployment of African troops. Yes, Germany did that. Just besides the Jewish, besides the whole thing with that, right? They did that with black people also, just a free for all. And this happened during the rural occupation. They want to portray them as menacing, animalistic figures, just being with the French officers. And the reason why they're even there is because after World War One, France and Belgium occupied Germany's Ruhr Valley in 1923 to force Germany to pay reparations. So let's think about that. Germany didn't pay for the reparations, so they had to come and be like, okay, we gotta put our big boy pants on. We're gonna have to, run game because this is crazy. You're not doing what you're supposed to do. So France sent troops, right? Including African colonial soldiers. You can see where this is going, right? From Senegal and other West African colonies to enforce what Germany is pretty much not doing. So, to the German public, this was deeply humiliating. So humiliating, they couldn't take it on the chin and be like, you know what, we didn't pay them. Shit, we didn't pay. But no. Instead of doing that, or maybe if you want to take the route, just frame it as a national insult. But no. Instead, they say, you know what? Let's be racist. Fuck that. They shouldn't even be here anyway. Let's be racist. Yeah. So this is what they did. They decided to start drawing, and this is what they drew. So as you can see, the French officers are being guarded, right? They're being escorted by these African soldiers. So, as you can see, if you have eyes, the African troops are drawn with grotesque, exaggerated features. Thick lips, wide nose, really thick lips. You gotta make sure you gotta add the racism in there properly. So, they added wide noses, bulging eyes, just basically trying to copy their features in the most racist way they can possibly do it. This is all classic signs of, a black caricature. They wanted to depict black people as menacing, animalistic, scary, just like they do in America. Like the same thing, just in Germany. They got upset, they couldn't really take it on the chin, be like, we didn't do nothing with that treaty. But, we have to just be racist instead. And they also drew very disgusting things about Jewish people. I'm pretty sure, most of you already know that, but I'm just saying it just so you know. This was published in the Simply Honest magazine. This magazine is known for being comedic, satirical. And, just to go back to this picture, I just kind of want to talk about some more stuff here. So, notice how they draw the French officers, making them small, making sure you see their hips, making sure their body T. And, just a thin white man in uniform, they're trying to depict it as, they're weak or ironic compared to the African soldiers. We can see the difference here, right? I can't be the only one here. They just really want you to make sure you understand the difference between black soldiers and white. The black soldier also has overly long arms. You guys notice that, right? And they're hunched. Their expressions are emotionless, stern, just making them look like they're brutish or mindless. They're really not slick what they're trying to do. Besides what we see physically, oh yeah, their lips and da-da-da-da. Look how they want to make the African soldiers look compared to the French soldiers. I clearly see what they're doing. The French soldiers have more expression. Oh, look how I'm walking. I'm dignified. And look at these black people. They're brutish and just mean and thug. Germany was really trying to say something to the people of Germany. They were trying to say it without having to say it in capital letters in a magazine. Instead, they drew it out. So I'm going to tell you exactly how they meant what they were trying to say when they drew this. Look how far Germany has fallen. They're being occupied not just by France, but the black colonial soldiers. These aren't men, they're monsters, towering over us, threatening our land and corrupting our society. Cartoons like this like to use racial spectacles to really speak to their people, to make them outraged. I'm going to talk about another cartoon called Colonial Power. Think about that title, Colonial Power. I think you can guess what this is going to look like. Probably not as lightly you're thinking about it. I'm going to show you. So you can see Germany's true feelings about black people in 1904. So, this is how Germany wants to show their dominance over another race. So, pretty much, we can clearly see what's going on here. But they really want to make racism look like order, look like performance. White people treating black people like circus animals, even showing that they would eat us. And I'm going to show you that picture in a second. But they made this to entertain the German audience, to make them laugh, make them smile, make them feel good about just being racist to another human being. They just want to show you that their race is more dominant over the Africans, black people. Germany just really didn't like us. They just really didn't like black people. They really didn't like African troops. They really just had a hatred for us. They even thought it was funny to show that they would eat us. And if you already know, white people, yes, like during slavery, they would eat black people, make them into furniture, peel off their skin, things like that. But look what Germany's doing. They said, it's so funny. It's so funny that you want to eat black people. And they sent this out to the masses of Germany, to the audience of Germans. And it was funny that you want to eat a black person. They just didn't see us as people. And I'm sure you guys already know that, but I'm just going to say it anyway. Did not see us as people. And this was in Germany, somewhere else. This is not even America. We're not talking about America. We're talking about Germany. They had beef with us too. So Germany had a problem. And that problem wasn't, what the fuck? Do you notice what's going on in the back? Is that a French officer? They're kissing the African women. So they hypersexualize them as well. Just like in slavery in America, they would rape black women. They would have babies with black women, just sexualizing them, They hated us. But they still went to put a baby in black women, to have sex with women. And that is exactly what they're depicting in this German magazine. Because you can clearly see that this is an African woman, and there's an African woman in the back. And there's an African, child sitting right there watching this French soldier or French man just do something to this woman. And then, as you can see on the other side, they're eating them. And this was somehow funny. I cannot wrap my mind around how this would ever be funny. This is disgusting. All Germany had to do was worry about the treaty they're supposed to be following up for. But they worried about us. They instantly got triggered that African troops were there. they got angry at us because they didn't do what they're supposed to do. And then they started drawing racist imagery of us, if you're black watching this. It goes worldwide. Worldwide, people. I missed a worldwide. They hated us and they wanted to sleep with black women. But yet draw us in this disgusting manner, but yet you want to be with that? Why are you being bothered with us if you don't like us, if you're disgusted by us? It makes no sense. Besides the blatant racism, it is just so disgusting. You can see the African woman is tied up. She can't do anything. You know, the giraffes are supposed to represent France, Belgium, Germany, watching over the animals. And the animals are supposed to be black people. So they even hid it in animal imagery. They wanted to show that Africans are made to perform, to entertain. Belgium, France, Germany, watching over them, making sure that they realize that they're monkeys and they can't have no control over what's going on. They really wanted to make sure Africans felt, black people inferior. You can see by the imagery an African is doing something with a wheelie thing, and these lions, I guess they're lions, are watching over him like, we're the strong ones, you're inferior. They wanted Africans to make sure they know that they understand that, including the pictures I was just talking about with African women. Like, we can take your women. We can do what we want with your women. We can eat them. We can eat you. Like, it is just a clear hatred for black people. And they drew multiple of these images. I told you there was more images. They want to control the black man. They want to control, do whatever they want to him. They see him as a beast, which is why they're tying him up and looking at his body like it's foreign. And as you can see here, a German official, he's writing whatever he has to write, looking dignified. And here we go with the giraffes, which represent France, Belgium, Germany, looking over what the monkey's doing, making sure the monkey's being helpful, and the monkey is supposed to be a black person, helping him do what he gotta do, write his official papers while he puts in ink. What Germany would do, they would make fun of black people, they would make fun of Africans, they would make fun of the African troops because they got mad because they showed up trying to take over our space, our society. It's just delusion. It's scary. I hope you guys learned something. Bye.